Hi, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of your Frederish podcast. My name's Gary, and here I am once again with you guys to mostly practice English together and talk about fun things, fun facts, interesting things, or why not, scary things. Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today, scary movies, or aka horror movies, okay? What is your opinion? What is on your mind right now? Okay, do you like this kind of movie? If you like them, if you love them, think about the reasons why you do love them, right? You do enjoy this kind of entertainment. Or the other way, or the contrary, if you don't like, why is it that you don't like it, or maybe even hate it? Well, mostly we're gonna go through the main features, characteristics of this kind of entertainment, as I said, because personally I must say it kind of fascinates me, because on one hand I think like, oh my gosh, when I'm watching something really scary like a movie, or even reading a book, okay, believe it or not, guys, I said that before, everyone should read anyways. I know that it's not everyone who has that habit in Brazil. But anyways, believe it or not, when you're reading something scary, it's 10 times scarier than watching something scary. Yeah, it's hard to believe. Maybe it's not even true. I don't know. But anyway, you can really shit your pants. Forgive my French here, guys. Reading something scary, believe me, that's a fact. Okay, maybe not as scary as compared to a very well produced horror movie, but really nothing that owes this kind of production anything. Anyways, it's a lovely Friday, one more lovely sunny and chill, coolish Friday, which is my favorite kind of weather, particularly. Maybe not the best weather to enjoy a horror movie, especially because it's the afternoon and yeah, it's nighttime. That is the perfect moment to feel scared by something. But anyways, that doesn't prevent you from standing up right now, pausing this audio, or just keep it going if you have it on your wireless Bluetooth headphones, and go grab your cup of tea, coffee, water. It's Friday, so why not beer or wine, a glass of wine, I don't know. Whatever it takes for you to, yeah, you get it right, to relax. And just come with me into this new journey, today's journey. Let's go. Well, I said that before, but I must say it again. I never really makes deep research into the topics I bring here, for first of all, lack of time mostly, but not only that, because I like having this spontaneous conversation, so you guys understand and are certain that this is not an expert talking about, feel free to disagree with whatever the hackish I get to say here in this episode or in any other the episodes. If this is your first episode here, if this is the first time you're listening to Frederish Podcast, be super duper welcome aboard. But go back and check the other topics we talked about, but just bear in mind that I'm no expert in most of the topics I discussed, not to say all of them, but yeah, I really have another parameter, that is having experience with the topic, the topic brought, the topic that is on the table, basically. So yes, I am a big fan of movies in general, but I have to say that horror and also suspense, with the puzzles, are one of my favorites. It's hard to say what is my favorite, but right now at this moment, since I'm immersed into this topic, I would say that horror is my favorite genre. Okay, and here's an important word in English: genre. Okay, don't confuse. We Brazilians may inevitably get to confuse the words the word genre with the word gender. Okay, gender is like masculine or feminine. Okay, genre is what we use to, and we say in Portuguese the same. We use in Portuguese the same word, that is gênero. Okay, so that is the artistic gênero. All right, genre. I'll spell it for you. Genre. Again, Genre. All right. Okay. Another feedback I could get before, kind of a disclaimer, but I never said that before. I am positive I never said that before. I understand that some of you listening to this episode right now, and any of the episodes here, may not be exactly at C1 level, that is advanced level or pre-advanced level, which may cause these words or this conversation to get a little more difficult to absorb, to understand, to get. So if that's the case, feel free to let me know in the comments, part below here, the video, I don't know where you're listening to it, YouTube, Spotify, but there's always a place where you can write down your mind, your thoughts, your words. All right. Okay, so without further ado, I love horror movies. I am not the person. I mean, I love them, but I'm not obsessed with them. Okay, here's a very personal point of view. I just feel like this is not something for you to watch every day, because we're usually talking about murder. Okay, we're usually talking about I don't know, dark magic, negative things. Let's just summarize this way, okay? We're usually talking, when we're watching a movie, we have to have things that are scary, right? Otherwise, it's not a horror movie, right? So, yeah, and okay, you have it once in a while, once a week, that's interesting, but like when you keep like doing that every day, again, that's a personal opinion. I never even got to do that, like, I don't have any experience to go like, hey guys, don't do that because I've been there, like, no, I am just saying that it's important to have a balance, like keep a comedy between the horrors, if you know what I mean. That should be nice, okay? That's something that I say. Having said that, leaving that behind, I really enjoy, and I don't understand. I would really like to understand, why is it so fun feeling the adrenaline of fear, okay? Psychologists, psychiatrists, guys listening to me, don't judge me. Maybe adrenaline has nothing to do with fear, but I'm trying to get to the feeling of, like, why is it so cool to feel fear? Especially when you're sitting on a couch, like, eating up something, drinking, in other words, totally safe or almost totally safe from the things on the screen, right? So I've always wondered, I've always asked myself, like, what is the reason, what is the source of this feeling that makes it so cool to feel fear, okay? I think that this gets extended to the real world in dangerous things, like, especially men, especially we boys, we kind of like taking risks. I don't know what nature law or evolutionary factor responds to this fact, okay? But that's a fact, right? Not all men, but most of us, okay, myself included. It is nice taking risks. It is nice, like, jumping from one point to the other, checking our body strength. We boys love it, okay? Some girls, of course, and there's no impediment. That's not an impediment, but that's just a trend, basically, a gender trend, I would say. Anyways, just my personal point of view here. Feel free to disagree, all right? So the thing with scary things starts kind of naturally during our childhood, I believe. I don't know how modern parents work this out, but I here, my wife and I, we don't, as parents, we don't use that strategy with our kid. So, but our parents did that. The whole thing, oh, hey, there's a monster in your closet, like under your bed, right? If you don't behave, the boogeyman is gonna come for you at the end of the day, right? Our generation doesn't usually use it, right? But our parents' generation did, all right, or the past generations. So it's kind of a born there, okay. But nevertheless, despite of the fact that I don't do that, I see that in my kid, that she's got fear, okay, of staying alone, of strangers, okay, which is excellent fear, by the way, okay. So it's important. It's an important type of fear. So even like not scaring her as my parents did. Just a quick story. When I was like 6 or 7, we would go for a trek in the woods. And I was the youngest because I have an older sister, and then my older sister, which was way faster than me, and both my parents would simply run away and leave me alone for a few minutes in the middle of the woods. I remember almost shitting my pants. I was 7 or 8. And I absolutely hated that because I knew that they were doing that on purpose, just to have fun at my expenses. But anyways, that's just to bring a contrast of how different I am as a parent. And I'm not criticizing my parents, and just that's not how things go, okay? I don't believe that. I'm just saying that I would never do that, okay? So things are different now, and kids are growing up. But no matter that, though, that generational difference, the kids still have fear, okay? So I tend to believe that we're born with that. It's a kind of a natural response, okay? Long story short, it is something there's nothing we can do about it. So this kind of answers the question I posted before about like, why is it that it is so fun to watch horror movies, right? And then of course in the stories, then kids stories, there's always a villain, and no matter how full this and childish this seems to us today, when we watch an episode of a cartoon or a movie or a show that we used to watch when we were kids, no matter how stupid, how childish the villains are, the truth is we would feel really scared by them when we were kids, right? I remember vividly watching some stuff and some things and really having trouble to sleep, all right? But as eventually we grow up and we get to our teenage years, and then we start watching things that are more, like more to a modern scary thing, meaning the things you feel scared by even today as a grown-up, right? Like kidnapping, like alien abduction, who the heck wouldn't forgive my French again, but shit their pants if they were abducted to aliens, no matter how peaceful they would be, right? Possibly be. But so we start getting more like things like that. Wow, you even feel like, a little bit of goosebumps even to the present day. I remember watching like Jason's movies, Chuck, the doll. I don't even know the original title here, but the Chuck, right? The murder toy, right? That's the free translation to Brazilian Portuguese. And I remember really feeling like that was scary. But at the same time, I would love that. Freddy versus Jason came out in my teenager years. This thing of X versus Y versus X started coming out. Freddy versus Jason was the first, I believe. And it was more of a funny and fun movie than a scary one. But anyways, when I was a teenager, I had this older friend of mine who saw the Blair Witch, okay? I don't know if you ever saw this movie, but he saw the movie and he told me that he had a hard time sleeping during a month because of that movie. You know, I'm talking about year 2002, 2003, more or less. And I remember like, wow, I want to see this thing, right? And then I saw that and it's pretty scary, but I just slept okay, right? And I kind of laughed at my friend. I said like, come on, man, like, and he was older than me, 4 years older. But anyways, but then I paid the price of that situation with my mouth. Why is it? Because a few years later, 2003, more or less, 2004, I was like 14, 15, and I saw this movie called, in Portuguese is the Horizon Enigma, right? Enigma do Horizonte. But the original title is Event Horizon. That is basically in the future, 100 years in the future, a spaceship goes to Jupiter or Saturn, one of the distant planets in our solar system. Go because they get a signal from a lost ship, okay, that had vanished, that had disappeared in space, in a space mission. And then turns out that they go after this ship, they get inside the ship, there's nobody alive, but the ship had been to another dimension, a dimension of fear and scary things, so the people, the characters getting inside the ship would have to face their dreadest fears, basically, and their fears will become reality inside of the ship. And ladies and gentlemen, that really got me a month of sleepless nights. All right, I swear to God, a month. It took me a whole freaking month, you know, without sleep. It's funny, isn't it? I watched it recently, quote unquote, like 10 years ago, alone in my house. I was already a grown up, living alone. I really had the goosebumps. It's a pretty scary movie. But I was more like checking myself, like, hey, 10 years ago, back in the days, right? It was 10 years ago. I really got scared. So what about now? And I just got scared, but not to the point of not sleeping a month, you know. Yeah, the same night I just slept, and I was alone. So I kind of overcome the whole story, the whole situation. But anyways, this is an example of that's a very, very scary movie. I really recommend. It's an interesting and intelligent movie. Good plot, good story, great actors. Go for it, okay? Although I have kind of spoiled the whole thing, but anyways, go for that. I didn't spoil. I haven't spoiled that much. Don't worry. Wow, what about the others with Nicole Kidman? Oh my goodness, this thing gives me the goosebump to the present moment just of thinking of it, right? I'm not gonna say much because this is a pretty spoilable, quote unquote, movie, because a couple of words managed to spoil the whole thing, right? What else? I was just thinking of the Sixth Sense. I don't even know that's the original title. The Boy Who Sees Dead People. That's another very interesting and kind of scary movie, right? Which I cannot talk much about because same story with the other movie I said before. Like a few words can spoil the whole thing. But I remember later coming a new kind of a horror that for me was new, at least, that kind of got me into a new era of horror things, that is zombies. Well, zombies is a different kind of horror, even hard to figure out. Like, what are you really scared? Are you scared of dying in a disgraceful, dystopic future in which honestly we will be better off, I'll be better off dead than like running away, killing each other and dodging and zombies and running from zombies to survive, to keep alive, you know? So what is it that we feel scared the most? You know, the whole dreadful, disgraceful situation that the left humans are facing to merely survive, or or is it like being killed by a zombie? I know that inevitably, if we would come to a situation like that, it's easier saying here, but if we were in a situation like that, we would fight to the last minute for life. That's a natural instinct, right? But my point here is, like, it is hard for me to figure out, to understand why is it so scary, like zombie movies. The fact is, they are, okay? Especially the ones that the zombies run. In this case, I don't think there would be much hope, because, like, if the zombies don't run, like The Walking Dead, for example, it's something you can pretty much walk around, dozens of zombies and get away with it, basically, like not getting hurt or killed, right? But then I got addicted to it. Walking Dead was a big thing in this subject, zombie things. Today it got old, because usually zombie movies don't offer two things that are really important, in my opinion, in a story: an origin, like how the heck did people started turn into zombies after they die, and second, a solution. They just end like that way. Humanity is gone. There's no solution, right? So, and then we started the modern zombie productions explore a lot, Walking Dead included, in the past seasons, in the latter seasons, exploring things like what would humanity turn, basically, like what kind of people. If you're familiar with The Walking Dead, take Negan, for example. Like, come on, what would take for Negan is a mini Hitler, basically, if you're not familiar with The Walking Dead, and gets to a point where we get to think, like, what is worse, like the zombies around or the bad people around me, So it got old in the terms of horror, because it became a much more critical, sociologic critic thing, rather than a scary movie. All right. And also, one pretty interesting type of horror movie is the spirits, right? Demons, angels, whatever, or even bad spirits. It is something really, really something, because probably this is true. Like, we have spirits surrounding us. That's what I believe, at least. So in my case, it gets even scarier if we come to think about it, But basically, this is what comes to my mind when I think about horror movies and TV shows. Books, basically the same, okay? The difference is that books get you deeper into the story, Believe me, they get you deeper into the story. So everything gets amplified, So when you're reading a horror story, boy, girl, you're really there, all right? I really recommend you reading even more than watching horror movies, because in the movie, if there's anything that goes off, for example, you see that the monster is not real, it kind of, it's a big bummer, all right? It's a big turn down. And in the book, you don't have that, because, like, the book describes and depicts images that you create in your mind. And your mind is very good at bringing the best, So the best at scaring, the best of getting you to shit your pants, will get you exactly there. That's it. So I've spoken too much for now. Let me know your opinion. What is your fave type of horror movies? What do you agree with what I said? What do you disagree with what I said? Let me know it. So that's it for today. Thank you one more time for your lovely company. I see you in the next episode.